So I'm Charlie Stockwell from Wars Harley-Davidson. I lead the custom design team there. This is Frederick and this is his new custom 2018 Harley-Davidson Street Bob.
So maybe I'll just give a bit of an indication of what it was I was looking for to build. So I'm a Harley man, so I wanted to get to a version of the Harleys as I dreamed of them when I was a kid. When I was 10, 12, 14 years old, I had this kind of bikes on my wall. So when the new Milwaukee 8 came out, this new phenomenal platform, Softail platform, I thought, given the sketches that Charlie had done before, that we had the great platform to be able to build it. So I wanted something that looked like a 1970s, 1980s chopper kind of thing, with the ducktail fender and 21-inch front wheel, the upswept pipes and so on. But the second part of the inspiration is I go a lot to Japan for work, and I love Japan, and I've seen the coolest bikes in the world in Japan, and they have a phenomenal Harley culture in Japan as well. So the brief I gave Charlie was to say I need to get Japan design elements into it. And so both in the engraving and in the paint and everything else, and I'll hand over to Charlie now, who'll explain how he got there.
So it was really, again, and it's going back to what Fred said about the 1970s and 1980s scene, the bikes are very, very slim. Now the new Milwaukee 8 Softail is quite a wide bike. The engine is pretty massive. So we couldn't do anything to slim down the engine, but what we needed to do is make sure that everything else that surrounded it was far thinner. So we took the original gas tank, we chopped 3 inches out of the middle. We got it as narrow as we could while still maintaining, fitment for the fuel pump that fits on the underside of this tank. A real slim but long seat, slimmer rear fender, taller wheel in terms of diameter, changing from the original 16 to the 18. And if you was to take a look from this angle here, you can see just how slim this bike looks, how tall it looks as well. Making sure the handlebars, the center width are no wider than the triple trees. That keeps everything streamlined. Now when it comes to the engraving, we went through, Fred and I for a matter of weeks trying to pick out different patterns, and it was called a Suba, is that right, Fred? The type of engraving?
Yeah.
So
from traditional Japanese sword handles. Actually.
That's it, yeah. So it was, and then we've got this little mix with the traditional style that the engraver Don Bloxage, that's famous nationwide for his engraving. There's a little mix of both the Tsuba Japanese style and Don Bloxage's kind of scroll work that is, like I said, so well known for.
Yeah, that's what you see here in front as well on the triple trees. If you have a look on the triple trees, it's really apparent that you've got a mix of 2 styles there. It's, I actually really love it. So the engraver is a Brit, and how old is he?
The dude's got to be in his 90s now.
Yeah, he's in his 90s. So inevitably, he wasn't going to be able to do Japan very well. So he did mostly British with a Japan inspiration. I end up truly loving it because it sort of fits in a British tradition of Japanning furniture, which they did in the 18th and 19th centuries. And so it's sort of a Japanned Harley done in Britain. Yep. It's a really weird mix, but it ends up being, I think, really cool.
That's right. Charlie? And then Fred had the crazy idea of, he was over in Japan only a couple of weeks before we started doing the paintwork, and he suggested, look, we're going to bring back some Japanese washi paper. And the idea was that we was going to try to incorporate that within the paint. Now, a process we've never tried before. We never knew if it was going to work. But the idea was to somehow incorporate, and what also was cool is that he was going to bring this back from Japan. So, I mean, it was proper traditional paper. We wanted that in the paintwork somehow. And we spent the best part of a few hours one morning going through how we were going to lay this out, how we were going to design it. And we ended up going for this flame idea. This is something that Fred and I both love. I've always had flames on my custom Harleys. Fred's always had it, on at least a few of his. And we almost come up with the idea accidentally, I guess.
I've inserted and it just turned out incredible. Washi paper inserted into flames. I don't think I've ever seen a paint job like this. So I'm thrilled with it.
And what's nice about that, it's predominantly a black and gold bike, if not all black. But then you pick up these lovely delicate colours, which also complement the engine engraving real well as well. So it was, we were real pleased with the outcome of this. Like I said, it's a paint design that we had never tried before. We were a little bit scared if it was going to work or not, I guess.
Yeah.
But and fell upon it accidentally. We were going to go for a totally different design, and we both realised how much we love flames and how cool it would look to get the washi paper within it.
Yeah, but, and I think you know, this bike Charlie finished it at 2:15 a.m. before the bike shed.
That's
so
right.
it's literally finished at the very last minute because we did want to show it here. But actually now at this point, if I'm totally honest, I can't wait for the Bike Shed 2018 to be over so I can actually go and ride the thing. Because this thing I think will be an awesome rider's bike.
And that was one of the main things that, you know, part of Fred's brief to me was like, it's got to be able to ride it, you know, it's got to ride as well as the original 2018 Harley Softail. And he made that quite apparent to me, and I think you mentioned that to me probably every time we met as well.
Pretty much.
So it was something that I had to really focus on. So not only get it looking like a 70s, 80s chopper, but make sure this is something that Fred could take on tour, which you do pretty often.
Yep, absolutely.